Now, just because you can doesn't necessarily mean that you should, but they did, so today we're taking a look at the mean one. So, let's get spooky. Greetings, everyone. My name is Nightshade. This is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky, and today we're taking a look at The Mean One, released in 2022. So this is a movie. I wouldn't necessarily call it a great movie. I wouldn't even say that it's a good movie, but it is a movie nonetheless. And this movie started off as just like a trailer for funsies, nothing that was meant to be taken too seriously, nothing that was ever planned to be a full-fledged movie. However, after people saw the trailer for The Mean One as a little, a little goof of a trailer, a lot of people really wanted to see it as a full-fledged movie. And the creators of this movie took this project head on and made it a full-fledged movie. And they did so with a shoestring budget, not much of a budget at all. And oh boy, does it show. Now, this movie is not great by any stretch of the imagination. However, there is fun to be had. Now, much in the same vein as like The Room, it is one of those movies that is so bad that it's entertaining to watch, which is the case for me when it comes to this movie. It's not a good movie, but it's fun, and I like having fun. And more importantly, I enjoy having fun with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into this review. So if you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, how are you? Hope you're doing well and staying spooky, but I want to let you know how I do my review. Now, I don't go beat for beat with the story, telling you everything that happens in this movie and giving my criticisms along the way. Instead, what I do is, first off, recommend that you go watch this movie for yourself, get your own informed opinion on the movie. But what I do here on The Night Shift is I break this down into two categories, the positives and the negatives, tell you what I liked about this movie, what I didn't like about this movie. And then after that, we score this out of a possible 10 points, and then end the video there. But we always start off on the bright side with Now, the Mean One himself is played by everybody's favorite homicidal mime, and that is Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, and I think he does a really good job in the role. He definitely embodies some of Jim Carrey's characteristics of the Grinch and mashes them perfectly with Art the Clown, and we get the Mean One. Now, he's called the Mean One because the Grinch is not yet in the public domain, but they ended up getting away with it on a handful of technicalities. Like, I definitely don't think that they really have much chance in court if anybody in the Seuss estate wanted to sue. I think they would owe some pretty hefty cash money moolahs. But, they skirt by with calling this a parody of the Grinch, and, I don't know how the legal mumbo-jumbo works, but I guess they got away with it. But I'm getting sidetracked. The best part of this film is definitely David Howard Thornton's performance as the Mean One. Now, David Howard Thornton, I think, really kind of nailed the role. I think he is the most experienced person in this film, for sure. Like, for sure, he is the most comfortable in front of a camera than anybody else in this film. And the only issue that I really have with his performance is that they made him mute. Like, David Howard Thornton does some really good voice acting. He does a phenomenal Mark Hamill impression of the Joker, and I just wish we would have got to hear him talk a little bit more and put his own spin on the character, and instead of being mute, make him more akin to like Jim Carrey's Grinch, but with his own demented spin on it. I think that would have made this movie a little bit better. But his portrayal of the Mean One is like by far star of the show, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Moving right along, we have. So if you have yet to see this movie and want to check it out and don't want the ending spoiled for you, I highly recommend clicking off the video now. Gone, get out of here, get. This is the only spoiler warning I'm going to give, and you have about 3 seconds to get on out of here and go watch the movie for yourself. 3, 2, 1. All right. So after a fight breaks out with the Grinch and Cindy Lou, you know who, after they have this nice fight sequence filled to the brim with some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life, and I grew up in the 90s. After that big long fight sequence, Cindy and the Mean One ended up having a nice little heart-to-heart. The Mean One's heart grew 3 sizes that day, which ultimately ends to his demise because enlarged hearts, they'll fucking kill you. The Mean One's heart explodes and he fucking dies, and that is absolutely hilarious. But no, I find the ending to this to be absolutely hilarious. Not the stock footage ending that they had, but you know, the ultimate demise of the Mean One I thought was hilarious. His heart blows up out of his chest and took me by surprise, and yeah, no, I thought that was fun. So moving right along, we have, much like I was stating in the intro of this video, this movie is a lot of fun. You can definitely tell the cast was having a blast making this movie, even though they're not the best actors, even though, you know, like the budget was definitely not there. It looked like they were having a fun time making a terrible movie. But, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a low-budget, schlocky slasher film that is taking a beloved holiday character and making him do terrible things to people, and you know, that's fun. It's fun, and you know, that is the best part about horror. A lot of horror films are fun. We have fun times watching a lot of pretty terrible movies. And you know, that's the best part about horror, the horror genre as a whole, especially in the slasher category. Like a lot of the 80s slashers of old are, you know, they're not good movies, but there's a lot of fun to be had, and this is much the same. Like, it's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but you can have a lot of fun. You know, shut your brain off, laugh at how dumb this movie is, and you're gonna have yourself a good time. However, if you're a person that just, you know, watches movies and is over analytical of them, and you're expecting something serious and something to be a little bit deeper and a little bit more analytical whenever you watch films, you're not gonna have a good time with this one. This is terrible for that. Again, I'll make the comparison to The Room, like Tommy Wiseau's The Room. It's not a good movie, but there's a lot of fun to be had, and it has a legacy of its own for being so bad. And did anybody really think that, you know, a movie about the Grinch, but he's homicidal, did anybody think that was going to be like something to be taken too seriously? I don't think so. You know, this was my first time watching this movie. It's one that I put on the back burner because I wasn't taking it seriously, but you know, it's Christmas time, it is December, and you know, I went ahead and bit the bullet, checked it out, and you know, it's not a good movie, but it's fun. I had a lot of fun watching it, and I will be showing more people this movie because it is, you know, so bad that it's almost good. Almost good. Not good, but it's almost so bad that it's good. And that is just about going to do it for the positives category. Now we move on to unfortunately, the worst part of this movie is the comedy. You can tell nobody that wrote this script is really into writing comedy. There's a scene where they are skirting around the fact that he is called the Grinch, and, you know, that didn't land for me. It wasn't funny the first time, and they keep, you know, beating you over the head with it. There is also a character in this film that is Jewish, and he keeps making, you know, off-colored remarks about being Jewish, and it's not on some, oh, I'm triggered type of shit. No, it's not that at all. It's just not funny. It doesn't land for me. None of the jokes really land for me in this film at all. Like, I can't think of one joke other than, you know, the Grinch's heart exploding out of his chest whenever it grows 3 sizes. Other than that, none of the jokes really landed for me, and you know, it hurts whenever you're seeing somebody attempt a joke that just doesn't. It's just not funny. It's just not good. You know, and I laugh at just about anything. I try to have a good time with a lot of the shit that I do, but you know, the comedy just doesn't land for me in this film, and that's unfortunate, because whenever you see somebody trying to be funny and they're not, it's just kind of cringe. And yeah, so there's a few cringeworthy jokes in this film that just don't do anything for me. Now on to the next negative, which is the CGI in this is an abomination. It's not good at all. Like, the CGI in this film is much akin to the CGI Michael Myers mask in Halloween H2O. Alright, so maybe it's not that bad, but it's still not good. And like, the CGI is just painfully bad, and there's some instances in this film where I don't know why the CGI was necessary. Like, there's a lot of CGI blood, and I don't see why they just didn't use like fake blood. That would have probably been easier than rendering liquid, for one. Not easy to render at all. Like, the explosions throughout this film, I get it. I understand you would need some CGI for that, but like, when it comes to blood and stuff in a slasher movie, I don't see why the CGI route was the way to go, but they did, and it doesn't work. It doesn't look good. They took what would have been some, you know, alright, mediocre to decent kills, and made them worse by the use of CGI. I mean, I personally, I don't get it, but you know, it is what it is. They went CGI with a lot of the kills, and it took what would have been a pretty decent kill, a pretty solid kill, and then just dumbed it down to a CGI fucking whack job that didn't need to happen, but it did. So, I mean, you know, my hands are tied. The CGI ruins the kill sequences in this film for me. So now we move along to my final negative for this film, and that is going to be plain and simple, the acting is just not good in this movie. A lot of it is very hammy. Like, when you watch this movie and somebody spouts off a line and you're just like, that's the take they went with, huh? That was the best of all of the audio takes you could have done. That was the one you chose, huh? Alright. And you know, I try to be forgiving whenever it comes to, you know, campy, schlocky, slasher shit like this. You know, usually the bad acting is like a charm of the movie. Like, you know, the first Terrifier film. There's a lot of bad acting in that, but it just kind of adds to the charm of the film. This one, for whatever reason, the acting really just bothered me. It took me out of the viewing experience, especially with like a handful of line deliveries that just it makes my skin crawl. I can't explain why. It's just, it's so badly delivered that it gives me the ick. Bad acting in films like this is to be expected, but, you know, there's just some instances where the acting is pretty egregious, and, yeah, it bugs me. It bugs me. So that's going to do it for my negatives, and it's time to score this. However, I'm going to give 2 separate scores for this movie. Now, if you're the type of person that goes to the movie and you get like really into the art of filmmaking and you like to break down the deeper meanings and stuff like that, you're not going to have a good time at all. And I would score this a solid 0.5 out of a possible 10. Now, if you are somebody that likes watching cheesy slasher films, especially like 80s slasher films and stuff like that, you're going to have a little bit more of a good time. If you're somebody that enjoys, say, like Jack Frost or Thanksgiving or Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I haven't seen that one yet, but I've heard terrible things. But if you are somebody that enjoys those films, then you're going to have a great time, because this is much the same as those sort of films. Now, my personal opinions on this film, I'm not into those types of movies, but I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed like Thanksgiving for sure, and Jack Frost for that matter. So with that being said, I'm going to give my personal score of this film, which is going to be a solid 4 out of 10. That's just gonna about do it for me. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends.